you two have spent time with them?
I mean, we exchanged text messages and all that. Kyle walked in while we were practicing. He smiled because he saw some of the drills and all that. And Ty was playing a video game after practice when I walked into the players' locker room, and I just said, hey, real quick, obviously we've communicated, and I'm so excited about this, but they'll be here for the weekend, so we'll have some chances certainly to sit down and get together. But it brings such joy to my heart. And DeAndre I think his flight got diverted to Richmond, so he's on his way. He said, Dre will do anything to get out of the end. He probably landed in Charlottesville, drove to Richmond, and said, I can't wait.
This did not surprise me.
But he really did. He was like 10 minutes and they diverted. It's just, I'm so happy to see those guys come back. It means the world to me, and I think it'll mean the world to them when their families are going to be here. So, and I look forward to, stealing some time and catching up.
Hank.
Tony, both guys said that this hasn't sunken in yet that they won the national championship. Has it sunken in for you?
Yeah, I think tonight it will sink in a little more for them. It has and it hasn't. There's those moments where you sit and you just ponder. And it's funny, just thinking about preparing some remarks for tonight for the celebration. I started thinking about things in a way I had, like, all right, I want to share some things. And I came up with a bunch of memories, and then all of a sudden, bang, a bunch more memories came back that I didn't even think about from the day. And I was like, there's so many things that happened along the way that made me just pause, and it almost made it, like when you're preparing something, it almost made me appreciate it even more. So it has, but then, we've started our workouts, and that really diverts my attention quickly to where we're at and what we need to work on and the distance. But I actually think when that banner is raised and it's placed up there permanently, it's going to be up there forever. And you'll walk by and you'll see it, and like, okay, because there's not really. I guess you see some of the shirts people wear in the streets, but there isn't a big symbol of it all over. But so kind of both ends.
Mike.
Tony, you've had some interesting messages to your team at the time we've covered you, whether it was UMBC or the year you had them cut down the net, I think when the gym was empty when you came in. What is your...
I can share that tonight.
That's a good one, right? Can you rework your remarks? Yeah. What is your message to this next group, and how does tonight impact them seeing that? How do you think that'll impact your new team?
My message is simple. Let's enjoy tonight and celebrate a national championship. That's all I'm worried about, and I'm going to enjoy it. We had a workout before. We got a workout tomorrow, and we'll get back to it. But tonight, my message is enjoy this for what it's worth, because it's special. Maybe it's once in a lifetime. Maybe if you're lucky enough, it happens a few more times or another time. But that's all I'm focused on.
Brad.
Coach, I'm just curious the TikTok of how this whole thing came together. Carla came to you. How did the whole process work, and what input did you have on how this all kind of unfolded?
Yeah, I picked the tablecloth. It was pretty cool. So the color combination, you'll see the lighting. I think I was pretty good at that. No, I actually can't even remember. I'm just so thankful for the people that have put the planning into it. I know we had talked about doing something, and here's what I like. Ty, Dre, and Kyle, and I wish Jack could be back. He's in New Zealand, but those guys are back. If you do it before your first game, they can't be back. I don't know too many coaches in the world who can enjoy it at that time, but this allows families and your former players to get back. So I think it's great, and it allows you to celebrate with the community and the university and all that. So I think, probably Ronnie, Carla, Bach, everyone just talked about what makes sense. And, we don't do a season-ending banquet like most programs do that.
Right.
We're probably one of the few. And now I said, well, maybe if we have a special year, we'll do one. And I remember after we won the ACC championship for the first time, and it was kind of brought to our attention, we're like, I don't think so. We want a few more. But I think this is probably worth doing one after this year. So we got one. And I think the timing was well planned, so everyone could be a part of it.
David.
There's many.
Tony, through your public interactions since the Final Four, do you have a sense for what this team accomplished, especially in the previous year, resonated not just with Virginia fans, but just with the public overall?
Yeah, I mean, when I'm on vacation outside of the country and people, the visibility surprised me. Everywhere you go, I think people, and maybe that hopefully will die down, but they saw it and it was so visible. They appreciated it, and I think I appreciated it more how generational it was in terms of so many people came and said, I've been following Virginia basketball, or I watched that tournament with my grandson, my son, him or daughters, and just how many people, especially, and how it brought everybody together, and of course the message of resiliency, and just bouncing back and fighting through and being formed by that which kind of the blow that sort of tried to cut you down. I think a lot of people remember that. I always reference it in a basketball sense. We're celebrating tonight. Great thing that you think of the tragedies in the Bahamas, and you understand real suffering. But in our basketball world, there was some amazing lessons taken that I think people were inspired by, and I think rightly so, because for the most part, our young men handle it in a good way, and it's such a public thing. That's what sports is about. So I think I appreciate that more and more from some of the letters and people that come up.
Probably an obvious question since we know you, but how hungry are you still now that you've got a title, you've done it all, kind of a thing? Does it take some time to recharge and get yourself hungry again, or is it the next morning hey, let's go after it again?
I want to enjoy tonight's national championship celebration with a big smile, but absolutely. This was such a gift, but the desire to, build again. It'll be a unique year, I don't know, losing that many guys. So there's a new challenge, and there's excitement with that, and competition brings the hunger in everyone. And I think the loss brought a unique hunger last year, the way we lost, and the win this year brought a different but unique hunger, which both I think are proper. And you have to look at your team, and it's a whole new look team with a few guys returning, but there's some challenges there. But I'll enjoy it. But as everything, that's one of our pillars, passion. And if you're lacking in passion or you're lukewarm, it's going to be a hard deal, and that part won't wait.
Jerry and then Hank.
Tony, I know you preach a lot about the Virginia family. You've had a lot of your former players come back from time to time since the championship, even though they never got to experience that. Have you tried to find a way to share this with them?
100%. We sent every alumni a shirt, a book that had United Pursuit on it. We had all those guys, a lot of them back every year or so. We'll do a pool party at my house, and just had a great time because they are part of it. All the guys that played for me, but even the ones that didn't, but the ones that have put so much into it. That's the beauty of sports. When a team does something like that, you take great pride in it, because you don't get there. You don't get the recruits. You don't get the things, the improvements in your facility if it wasn't for the guys before that built it, that had success, that struggled but then stayed with it, that honored the program. So they are absolutely part of that. That's one of the things that I think I'm most thankful and happy about is watching all of our guys, Mike, Toby come back, work out for the summer. All the players that have played for us come back. They train with Coach Curtis. They work out. London was here last week, just sitting down. That's one of the, I guess, perks of being a coach. That I guess if they like you, sometimes if they're not coming to see you, then you get those issues. But because of that, just to see them, they're drawn back to, because of the university, the community, the way they were treated. There's a good vibe that way, and I think that's one of the best things. And Coach Williford being an alum, Coach Curtis, Ronnie, we're so intentional about trying to engage our former players, those who didn't play for us, to make them feel as part of this as possible.
Tony, it seems like a lot of focus will be on the three guys that left and Jack, the three guys that went to the NBA and Jack. How kind of important is it maybe that Kihei and Mamadi both kind of became folk heroes in the NCAA tournament, and they're here kind of as a link to that and as you move forward?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot left coming back experience-wise, and those two are it. And they if you look at that NCAA tournament run, they were pretty darn consistent from start to finish, and they were unsung heroes in some ways, and then obviously a couple of the huge plays. I still think that shot Kihei hit, we're down 9, he hits it against Gardner-Webb to cut it to 6, was bigger than anyone realizes in that setting. But no, it is, and I think that experience they have, and that's a good question for them, is the hunger there? Is that? Of course it is, and they know it's a new challenge, and never be forgotten what they did, but that experience, because Mamadi experienced both. Kihei only knows that, but he'll be relied upon from leadership, and he had great role models in front of him, or great teammates that modeled that. But yeah, those guys, Jay Huff was part of it, and Braxton as well. But Kihei and Momedy were the most heavy net guys.
Time for a couple more. We'll take Caroline and then Ryan.
Coach, outside of game film review, have you sat down and watched any of those games, particularly Purdue and on, to just kind of see what that experience was like, and how emotionally prepared are you for tonight, not knowing the highlights that are going to happen and the emotions when the banner actually reads?
Yeah, I have, and it's funny, in the moment, you watch them and it's intense and you're thinking about things, and then when you watch it as a spectator on TV, I was like, oh, this is close. This is nervous. Oh my God, what's going to happen? Until we win, But it was a different feeling. It really was. So, and I enjoyed it. I watched maybe a couple games, and then now I'm watching a little more for study. But and I think if I remember, I want to say this tonight because I've been part of so many great games as a player and a coach and assistant coach at all levels. And I can name a bunch, and it's not to shortchange any of them. I remember in Michigan State, Virginia Sweet 16. You talk about a heavyweight fight. Madison Square Garden. I mean, that was a championship caliber game. And there's a lot of those games. But that Purdue game, at Purdue, Louisville, or at Purdue, where was that game? Well, it was Louisville, okay. But that game, with all that was at stake, and how, he answered back and forth. That was the highest level game I've ever been a part of. And then, the drama at the end. But I'm talking the whole thing. And I hope I can remember to say that, because that was one of those where you step back. So that when I watched it, and that way I said, no, this is an elite game. This is, if you're a fan of physicality and even some movement without the ball and screens and different things, all the games that were at a high level and great. But that game from start to finish was one that's one I've been part of, I think.
Hank. Oh, I'm sorry, Ryan. Sorry.
You said tonight was about celebrating the national championship and get back to work. Afterwards, banners hang forever, like you said. The guys as well as coaching staff are also going to receive a ring tonight as a personal memento of everything that happened. What does that ring mean to you? What does it mean to the team? And what went into making that special for this team?
Yeah, well, the players designed it, and I got a feeling I won't be wearing it around a lot. I just got a feeling based on if our ACC rings are any indication, if it's that size or any bigger, I don't think that will be on my ring finger. I think that'll be in a box for a keepsake. But the guys designed it. It'll have, I'm sure it'll have our theme of United Pursuit and different things. But yeah, that's I guess for our sport, the granddaddy of them all in terms of that ring. So really cool, and those guys designed it. And again, I remember the one thing we talked about is the one question the coaches got to vote on one thing on the face of it. You got I don't think the real diamonds, at least you never know nowadays. But we're like, should we put the basketball outline so it's a basketball, or just kind of the, what do they call them, cubic zirconias? And we decided, let's put a basketball outline, because when we're in our 70s or 80s, we're like, what sport did we win it in? Well, that's a basketball. So I know that part, so we had a say in that there's a basketball, so we remember that. But I think our guys, I'll be curious if guys will wear those. Bach will wear his all over, I know that. But I think it's a great.
You can make a belt buckle out of it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can do it all. That's not a big jewelry guy, so.
Thanks, Tom.
Good. Yeah, thank you guys for coming.